Hello everybody, welcome back to Harvest Moon Farm. Tonight I'm making a dinner that is low carb so that it will help kind of stabilize my blood sugar that I've been having issues with. So I'm going to grab a few things and we'll get started. Got my apron so I don't splash anything on me. And first thing, I've got a baking sheet here that I covered with a sheet of parchment paper. I'm going to spray just a little bit of non-stick spray on here so the chicken doesn't stick. So I've got a couple of chicken breasts here. And these are some that I used my mallet to pound flat. Got some paper towel. I'm just going to kind of dry these just a little bit so they're not so kind of, I don't even know what the word is. Anyway, dry them up a little bit. And then I've got some roasted garlic and herb seasoning. I'm going to spray these just a little now that I've dried them up so that I can put, oh, this one's not open, so that I can put some seasoning on here and it will stick well. So I'm going to go ahead and give each side a good round of this seasoning. Just going to kind of pat that down. And then I'm going to go ahead and put the chicken on one end of this sheet. And then I've got this bag of Brussels sprouts. I'm going to take these out and I'm just going to cut them in half like that. I'm going to put them in that bowl, and then once I've got them all cut, I'm going to put some salt and pepper and some olive oil in there. And then we're going to get those on this sheet and we'll let them roast along with the chicken. All right, got a couple more. There we go. So I'm going to put some olive oil on these. I'm going to add a little pepper. And some salt. And go ahead and put a little bit of garlic powder in here. And then I'm just going to stir this up just so that it gets mixed. Sure that all of these are coated really well. And then I am just going to pour these out onto this baking sheet next to the chicken. Like that. We're going to add a little bit of butter. So these will be nice and flavorful. And then I have some garlic herb compound butter that I made a while back, and I'm going to cut off a slice, couple slices for each piece of chicken, and we'll let that roast on there. All right, so this is ready to go in the oven. I've got some bread in there right now. I tried to make a sourdough bread with my King Arthur's low carb flour. Didn't work very well. I did have to add some yeast and some regular wheat flour, so we'll see how it turns out. I am planning to do some more experimenting with some lower carb flours and sourdough and see kind of what ends up making the best loaf. For now, I'm just going to set this on the stove and have it ready. Along with our our chicken and our Brussels sprouts, we're going to have a salad. So I have one of those chopped salads here. And so I'm just going to go ahead and get it mixed up, and we'll have it along with our other items. So this one is a Southwest chopped salad. I really like these. They're good. They're a good, quick, kind of full salad if you are just looking for a quick kit. These also work well. Sometimes I'll take a bag to work with me, and then I can take chicken or steak or something, and then I can cut up a piece of chicken or whatever I have and pour out about half of this salad, and then I can just use whatever dressing I want. And that makes a nice lunch for me to have at work. But since we're having this here, I'm going to go ahead and just mix it all up the way that it comes. And this will be a good salad for us to have. So we'll just go ahead. Whoa, throwing it all over the counter. So we'll just go ahead and stir this all together. And there we go. So this is all ready for us to have with dinner now. Oops, I put that on backwards. Okay. I was hoping that we could grill the chicken today since it's relatively nice out, but it's really windy, so I don't even know if we could get the grill to stay lit. So it's going to go in the oven, and that will be fine. I'm really looking forward to the days when we can use our grill again. It's not in an area that's protected from the wind, so when it's really windy like this, we can't use it. And the bread's almost done. Hopefully it's good, because it is made with mostly low carb flour, so I'm going to eat just a piece with our dinner, and hopefully it doesn't make my blood sugar spike, and hopefully it tastes good. So here is how this looks, and it will be going into the oven here in just a couple minutes. All right, I just put the chicken and Brussels sprouts in the oven, and got this bread. Let me get it out of here without burning my fingers. It's done. It doesn't look bad. It doesn't. So the low carb flour did not provide the same sort of smooth, stretchy surface that you get with regular flour. So that's why I end up adding the yeast, because it wasn't. I didn't think it was going to rise the way that it needed to without any regular flour. So it could be that I need to use part low carb and part regular. So as I said, I'm going to be doing some experiments on that maybe later this week. So I'll be sure and bring you guys along for that so you can see what we figure out and hopefully come up with something that works well, tastes good, and doesn't cause a sugar spike. All right, so the chicken and veggies are in the oven, so we're gonna let that cook and we'll be back when everything's done and see how our dinner looks. All right, our dinner is ready. So we're gonna go ahead and get our plates made. These Brussels sprouts look so good. Oops. We'll go ahead and get each of us a bowl of this salad. Okay, yeah, we'll cut this bread and see how it looks. Hopefully it tastes good. It smells good. So the bread smells really good. I'll pull a little piece off and give it a taste. We'll see how it tastes.
Is it good?
Good. It tastes like sourdough. Okay, we're on day 2 of our 5 days of diabetes friendly dinners. So tonight I am making some cheese stuffed hamburgers. I wanted to grill them, but it is really windy outside and our grill is probably not going to stay lit. So we're going to bake them in the oven, which is fine. I'm also going to make some cheesy ranch cauliflower fritters. They sound really good, so we're going to try those. Got some corn for my husband, and then we'll probably go ahead and just have a salad or something else along with them. Okay. First thing I'm going to do, I've got a brick of cream cheese here, if I can get it open, that's been coming to room temperature on the counter. We're going to dump it in a bowl, and along with our cream cheese, we're going to add a little bit of salt and pepper. We're also going to add some onion powder and some garlic powder. And this is something that I make fairly often, and I don't measure, I just, as my son would say, you measure garlic with your soul. So I just kind of put things in there until I feel like I like it. So I'm just going to blend this all up. You just want to blend it enough to get the salt and pepper and other seasonings mixed in. And this is why it's very helpful to have it be room temperature. It'll mix a lot easier. Then to this, I'm just going to add some shredded cheese. And I'm going to stir that cheese in. I don't usually try to mix it in because it gets way stuck in the beaters, worse than just the cream cheese by itself. So we just want to stir this in a little bit, just enough that it's kind of all stuck together. Make sure we got all that cheese mixed in the cream cheese. And I've got, I don't even know what this is. This is a Mexican style, so it's got Monterey Jack, cheddar, queso, quesadilla, and asadero. I usually just use cheddar, but that's what I have right now. And you really can use any cheese that you want. So I have one of these hamburger presses that is also supposed to be for making a stuffed burger. So I've not ever used it before, so we'll see. Hopefully this works. So I've got 2 pounds of meat here. So I think I'm going to cut each one into thirds so that we've got 1/3 pounders. Oh, that one looks big. I'm terrible at measuring cuts like this. Okay. This is really cool. All right, so I'm going to put, I'm not sure how this works. So I'm going to press it in this bottom piece like this. And then I'm just going to, because I'm not going to put a top on these, we're just going to bake them in the oven. And so I'm just going to press down like this. Whoop. And it gave me a little indentation. I'm not sure that that's big enough. I might have to just press it down some more with my fingers. So I'm going to go ahead and just do this with all 6 of the pieces of ground beef that I have here. I did find some no sugar added ketchup that I'm going to try. I bought it thinking I was going to use it for another recipe, forgetting that we were having hamburgers tonight. So I can test it out on these and see how I like it just all by itself. The recipe that I bought it for, it will go into something, so that will be less likely to be something that you don't like when it's mixed in, if that makes any sense. It's not the same as putting it on your burger or dipping a French fry in it. Not that I'm eating French fries, of course, but all right, those are all different sizes, slightly. Wash the ground beef off my hands. Put them in the sink. I don't really know what you're supposed to do with this other piece. I'm sure there's, what does this say? Lock, unlock. I'm sure this helps somehow, but I don't know how, so I didn't use it. All right, so now I'm just going to scoop up spoonfuls of this cheese mixture, and we're going to add it into our burgers. So I'm going to put it in that little indentation that we made with that press. And I'm going to do my best to divide it somewhat equally. Whoops. My husband is not home yet, and I don't think he's on his way yet, so I'm just gonna set these on the top of the stove and they'll be ready once he gets home. I'm not gonna actually cook anything until he's home. I did forget something on these though. So I have a mix here that's just called burger seasoning. I have a feeling it's mostly just salt and pepper, but I think it might have some garlic and a few other things in it. And I'm just gonna sprinkle some of this over the top. Okay, so those are ready. I'm gonna set those off to the side until I'm ready to actually start cooking them. And oh my gosh, if I can get this lid on. There we go. So we're gonna set these on top of the stove, and then I'm gonna go ahead and start heating up the oven. I think I'm gonna do 400. The grill would be nice, except as I said, it's so windy. Okay, we're gonna go ahead and start cooking the cauliflower. Let's put the scissors away like a silly goose. All right, so this recipe calls for 12 ounces of riced cauliflower, which this bag that I bought the other day is 12 ounces. And it says, add 2 tablespoons of water, cover it with plastic wrap, and microwave for 3 minutes. Because we want to make sure that that this cauliflower is cooked before we start making it into our patties, because we're not going to cook it that long, and so it will not end up getting cooked. Okay, so I'm going to get some plastic wrap, lay this out over here, cover this, and then microwave it for 3 minutes. Gotta go downstairs and get some more cheese because I used the rest of what I had in the fridge. All right, so I had cheese in the freezer. I have a lot of this kind of cheese. I don't remember exactly what it came from, but I know one of my sisters brought it for something we had here. Maybe it was, I don't know. Anyway, she didn't want to take it home because she took some of it, but she didn't want to take all of it home because it was just her and my nephew who just turned 16, and so she didn't think they would eat it all, and so she left it with me and I threw it all in the freezer. The recipe calls for cheddar, but this will work, especially since it's all I have. All right, Joe's on his way home, so I am going to stick these burgers into the oven. So I don't know if I showed you, here is what they look like. Oh, they're gonna be so good, I love these. All right, the cauliflower's been beeping at me for a couple minutes now. Let's see. The instructions say to get rid of the rest of the water, but because I let them sit so long, it's pretty well absorbed. So we're gonna add all the rest of our ingredients. We're gonna start with 2 large eggs, and these are straight from our hens. So just in case, I'm gonna crack them in this bowl. I mean, we have them in a coop, so it's not likely that an egg has been someplace for, you know, a few weeks and we don't know, but still, I feel better doing this. I'm gonna mix this, break that up a little bit. To this, we're going to add 3/4 of a cup of cheese. I'm probably going to add a cup because that's just me. Whoa. All right, so that was at least 3/4 probably close to a cup. We're gonna call that good though. I guess I didn't get all the chunks out. Oh, I shouldn't have put all that stuff away. So we're gonna add a teaspoon of salt. Does not call for pepper, garlic powder, onion powder, parsley, dill, and chives. So we're gonna do a teaspoon each of the garlic powder and the onion powder. Whoops. A teaspoon of dried parsley, which looks like I need to get some more parsley. First I should check and make sure I don't have some stashed someplace. Half a teaspoon each then of dried chives and dried dill. All right. Put all this away. And we're just going to stir all of this into our cauliflower. My husband's home. The dog is going to lose his mind until he gets in here so he can see him. Alright, so we're just going to stir all of this up together. Ooh, it smells really good. And then we are going to move over to the stovetop. Alright, and now it says to use a cookie scoop to scoop out this cauliflower mixture to fry it. It doesn't say what size. I'm using my large one, which I think it's a 2-inch scoop. First thing we're going to do is put some oil in here. Maybe this. There we go. And we just want enough really to cover the bottom of our skillet. And we want to heat our oil over medium heat until it's nice and hot. And then we're going to scoop up some dropfuls, some cookie scoop full of this mixture. And we'll drop it in here, and then we're going to flatten it out a little bit with our spatula so that we make them into that fritter shape and not balls. Oh, not hot enough. Okay, so the mixture was a little bit watery once I put the eggs in. Maybe I should have tried to squeeze the mixture before I added everything. Squeeze the cauliflower, I guess I should say, before I added everything else. So I just added a little more cheese and made it not so runny. Plus, I love cheese, so it seems to be maybe the right temperature now. Trying to find something that's going to lift this. Nope, that's not high enough. Oh wait, maybe it was. To lift this up just enough to make the skillet be level. So we're going to let these cook until they're nice and brown on the bottom side, and then we're going to flip them over and let them brown on the other side. Oh, I just broke that one. Darn it. Two of these has 5 grams of carbs, so that is pretty good. All right, I've got all these fried up. They smell really good. Our hamburgers have about 5 more minutes and then they should be ready to eat. My husband's in the shower, so he'll probably be out around the same time as I've got everything else ready to go. Oh, look at these. Oh, look at that. Oh, yum. Perfect timing. Joe just turned off the shower, so I'm gonna let these sit for a minute and then we'll get our plates made. Okay, hamburgers are done. They look amazing. They smell amazing. So I'm gonna give this sugar-free ketchup a little taste and see, hopefully it, oh! Tastes like ketchup. All right, I'm gonna get a little ketchup for my burger. Oh, it does have a little bit of an aftertaste, but I think on my burger it's not gonna really be that noticeable. I'm gonna get a couple of these fritters. Let's see here. And the author said that you could eat these with a little bit of ranch. So I'm gonna put a little puddle of ranch on my plate and we'll see how that tastes. The fritter, not the ranch. Obviously I know what ranch tastes like. All right, I am gonna take a little bite of this. It really smells delicious. Ooh. It's good. It's really good. I think, like I said before, I think you could do this with shredded zucchini and do the same sort of recipe. Yeah, very good. Okay, we're gonna eat our dinner. I've got the corn warmed up here for Joe, and we'll be back tomorrow with day 3 of our 5 days of diabetes-friendly recipes. Okay, welcome back. It's day 3 of my 5 days of diabetes-friendly dinners. Tonight we are having pork chops and asparagus, and then I'm also going to make a salad. Very simple. I am going to go ahead and brown the pork chops a little bit in the skillet first. Then I'm going to put the pork chops and the asparagus on this baking sheet, stick them in the oven, and let everything finish cooking like that. So let me grab everything and we'll get started. All right, so I'm going to put a little bit of olive oil in my pan. We're going to let that get hot. All right, so I'm going to take these pork chops and I'm going to dry them just a little bit. And then I'm just going to put salt and pepper on them. And then I found this pineapple ginger marinade that is sugar-free. So once I brown these on the stove, when we get ready to put them in the oven, I'm going to go ahead and baste a little bit of that over the top of them because I thought that sounded really good. And my pan is nice and hot, so all right. I'm going to go ahead and put these inside down, and then I'm going to salt and pepper the other side as well. All right, while those tops are browning, I'm going to go ahead and get my asparagus ready. Come back here. I'm just going to cut the ends off, not my finger. Throw this in my compost bucket. So I cut these in 2-inch-ish pieces. And I'm going to get some salt and pepper. And we're going to go ahead and add some garlic. And I'm just going to do garlic powder. And then I'm going to just take some olive oil, do a little couple drizzles over here. And I'm just going to mix this all up. So that all the asparagus is coated. I'm going to put those on one end of this dish. See how our pork chops look. I just want them seared well on both sides. And my darn, all right, so then I'm just going to put these at the other end of this. Oh, I forgot to start the oven. What a ding dong. Okay, I'm going to put this at 400. And we'll go ahead and let that start preheating, which I should have done before I started and I wasn't thinking. And once it's preheated, we'll go ahead and stick this in the oven. So while we're waiting for the oven to preheat, I'm going to go ahead and chop up some things for our salad. This cucumber is soft, so we'll give it to the chickens. So I'm just going to chop this up in little quarters. A little, I don't know what I'm trying to say, little chunks like this. And let's see, maybe a couple more. Forgot that I had this lettuce. So I'm going to pull off the outer leaves because they're a little not in the best shape. But the inner part is fine. The chickens will really enjoy this. I'm going to chop up some of this. We'll add this to our bowl. And then I'm going to chop up a little bit of this other lettuce here as well. Go ahead and mix this up just a little bit. Okay, and then I've got one little tomato. I mean, I have more than one, but I'm just going to chop up one for now. And we'll go ahead and add that to our salad. Lay that on the top. Okay, our oven just went off, so I'm going to go ahead and get that pan in the oven. Can I get it?
Mm-hmm.
Alrighty, we're going to stick that in there, and I think I'm going to do 30 minutes. Alright, so I got a couple of garlic cloves. I'm going to go ahead and mince those into our salad. We'll give it a mix. Just a little hint of garlic. Not a whole lot. And then we'll go ahead and mix this up. I should have done this before I added the tomato, but I wasn't thinking. Alrighty, here we go. So we've got about 25 minutes on our dinner. So we'll be back in a little while to go ahead and plate up our food. Alright, so I put that in the oven and forgot that I was going to add my pineapple ginger marinade. So I took it back out. We're going to add a little bit of this. We're going to go ahead and brush this on. Then we'll put it back in the oven. And I may add a little bit more halfway through the cooking time. We'll see how it goes. Ooh, look at that. Alright, so we've got all of our stuff here. I want to give this pork chop seasoning a little taste. You can taste it. That is really good. Alright, so I'm going to go ahead and get the rest of our plate made. We'll get our salads. I also bought some fresh mozzarella pearls. I like to put those in my salad. So, if I can get this little package open. Holy cow, it does not want to open. There we go. So I'm going to put a few of these in my salad. Do you want some?
Sure. Okay.
All right. So there we go. Here is day 3. And I will be back tomorrow with day 4 of my 5 days of diabetes-friendly dinners. Alrighty, welcome to day 4 of my 5 days of diabetes-friendly dinners. Tonight we are going to make, I don't know what that is, we're going to make some shrimp stir fry. I've got a bowl of raw shrimp here that we actually got from Joe's mom and dad. So it's already peeled, deveined, the tails are off, so thank goodness. So I'm going to give it a rinse and we're going to start putting some seasonings in it. Let me see here. We're going to add some garlic. We're going to add some lemon. Let's start with the garlic and I'll think about what else I want to put in this while I'm getting that together. All right, I usually do a little bit of red pepper flake in my shrimp. Not a ton. I'm going to do some lemon pepper. Alright, let's see if this garlic is thawed enough that I can get this minced in here. Doesn't usually take very long, but if I try to do it before it's ready, it's really hard. There we go. I'm going to go ahead and do a little basil in here. So I'm going to put a little bit of lemon infused olive oil. That's what we'll use to cook it in. Alright, so we'll go ahead and get our shrimp in here in our skillet. So we're going to go ahead and let the shrimp cook. While it's cooking, we're going to go ahead and mix up the veggies that we're going to add to our stir fry. Alright, so I've got some red peppers here, and I'm just going to, I've got some strips that I had cut earlier left over, and I'm going to just cut them into little pieces. And then we'll put them in this bowl. I've also got some broccoli, and I think I'm going to put some little pieces of carrot in here. I thought about using cauliflower, but I'm going to be eating mine with riced cauliflower instead of regular rice. I have some steamed rice left over from another meal that Joe can use with his. We'll just warm it up. Put our broccoli in there. I'm just going to do a few carrots. And I'm just going to cut those in little pieces because otherwise they're not going to get done. And I don't mind if they're a little crunchy, but I don't want them to be completely raw. Alrighty. I also have some water chestnuts that I'm going to put in, but I'm going to put those in at the end. Alright, the shrimp are almost done, so I'm going to put those in another bowl. And we're going to go ahead and start getting our veggies all cooked up. Go ahead and add a little lemon juice. I'm going to put a lid on this to help kind of steam these veggies a little bit. And we're going to put our cauliflower rice, in a skillet. And I'm going to add just a little bit of water to that. And we're going to go ahead and start letting that cook as well. Add a little salt to the cauliflower rice. I thought I had some open vegetable stock, but I don't, so I'm going to add some lemon juice. It's all just going to be flavor. And I'm going to swap these for now. Turn this down a little bit. Go ahead and add our shrimp back in with our veggies and just let those kind of keep heating. Stir that all up. So I'm going to drain this can of water chestnuts and I'm going to add it then to our shrimp. And then I'm going to go ahead and put some pineapple chunks in our stir fry. There we go. Stir all that in and we'll just let, threw a shrimp on the ground, or on the stove. My pan's not quite big enough. Alright, so I'm going to let that keep cooking while my cauliflower rice cooks. So I just want to keep cooking this cauliflower until the water's all cooked out of it. Kind of like you would do with regular rice. You would just keep steaming it. This cauliflower rice is almost ready. This is a super quick, simple dinner that we're having tonight. Alright, I'm going to switch these again. Just want to make sure that this is all heated through. Then, this pineapple ginger marinade was so good, I'm going to add a little bit of it to our shrimp. Normally I would put like, like a, what am I trying to say? Like an orange sauce or some sort of a sweet sauce, which that's what this is, but this one is sugar-free, so we're gonna go with that one. So if you want to put your rice in this bowl, and then we'll get everything ready. So I'm gonna put some of this cauliflower rice in my bowl. I was gonna use real rice. All right, so very simple, quick. So I'm gonna give this cauliflower rice a try with a little piece of veggie. It's blistering hot though, so. So, in something like this, it's pretty much the same as rice. And I like cauliflower, so that's fine. So, I think this is gonna be good. Okay, so there's day 4. One more day. I'll be back tomorrow to do our day 5 of our diabetes-friendly dinners, and then that will do it. All right, we'll see you guys tomorrow. Okay, everybody, so we are on finally day 5 of our 5 days of low-carb dinners. Tonight we are going to be having some homemade pizza, and it's going to use low-carb flour and some other ingredients to make the pizza crust, and then I have some carb-friendly toppings to go on our pizza. So we're gonna get started with our crust, or with our dough, I guess. So I am using a recipe from King Arthur, and it says to use keto wheat flour. What I have is their white flour, so that's what I'm gonna use. And we're just gonna mix all of our ingredients together in this one bowl. So we need 200 grams of our flour. And I'm just gonna get a spoon to kind of help me get this to the right amount. Oops. All right, there we go. 200 grams of flour. Oh. And 170 grams of cool water. Scale. Oh, perfect. I probably couldn't do that again if I tried. And then to this, we're going to add instant yeast. And we want 1 teaspoon. We're gonna add half a teaspoon of salt. And a tablespoon of olive oil. Okay. So now I'm gonna mix this together just enough to get it going, and then we're gonna put it in the KitchenAid and use the dough hook. And I should have just started it in this, but I'm so used to making my sourdough that I wasn't even thinking, and I started it in this other bowl. So I'm just gonna dump all this in my mixer bowl. So I dirtied a bowl unnecessarily. But what's new, I guess, right? Okay, let's see. In. So we're gonna let the dough hook do its thing for about 5 minutes. We want our dough to come out smooth and bouncy. Those are the exact words. Okay, so this will make one pizza crust, and my KitchenAid is too big for this small amount. Okay, my mixing bowl is too deep for this one pizza crust, so I am going to knead it by hand, which will take a little longer, but that's okay. Okay, so I'm going to end up using this bowl after all, so I'm going to put it in that bowl, and we're going to cover it up, and we're going to let it rise for about an hour until it's nice and puffy but not quite doubled. So I'm going to wash my hands, get a towel over that, and I'll be back when we're ready to move on to the next process. Okay, our dough has risen quite a bit. It's nice and puffy, it's not quite doubled. So we're going to move on to the next step. So the instructions have us use a regular metal pan, aluminum pan, whatever. I'm going to use my pizza stone. So I'm going to go ahead and put it in the oven, and we're going to start preheating to 450. I am going to use one of these though, just to kind of help me make the pizza crust the right size. So I'm going to drizzle just a little bit of olive oil on here. And we're going to take out our pizza dough, and we're going to put it here, and we're going to go ahead and spread it out to the size that we want. So that's why I'm using this pizza pan, because it'll help me just kind of gauge the size a little better so that we get our dough spread out thin enough. Okay, so we're just going to cover this again, and we're going to let it rest for about 30 minutes. Actually, we're going to let it rise for 30 minutes, not just rest. So we're going to give that another half hour. When we come back, the oven will be preheated. We can go ahead and put the toppings on and transfer it to our pizza stone. Okay, ooh, look at that. Homemade pizza sauce here. Oh my. There we go. And I will not go as crazy with the sauce as I did the last time I made pizza, because it was, I like mine saucy, but it was too much for the crust to handle, although it was a different type of crust. But so I'm going to go ahead and spread this around. And I'm really getting hungry. I'm so excited for this. Joe is actually not going to be home until a little later today, so I'm not going to wait for him. I'm going to go ahead and eat. All right, and I have the turkey pepperoni that I accidentally bought. I meant to buy pepperoni, I just didn't mean to buy turkey, but it's okay. I don't mind it. So we're going to go ahead, top our pizza with our pepperonis. Oh goodness, my tummy's growling. And then we'll top it with some real mozzarella. And we'll add it on top of our pizza stone, just like this, and then we'll bake it like that. Okay, so I bought a package of already sliced mozzarella, so I'm just going to lay these slices around the pizza. Here's our pizza, and I'm just going to slide it still on the paper but off this pan, and we will put it on that pan. I'd like to do it without the paper, but I can't get it off that paper without making a humongous mess. Oops, let's drag it forward. Okay, now we're going to bake this for 15 minutes. And then we'll check and see how the cheese looks. If we need to add a little more time, then we will go ahead and do that. All right, 15 minutes is up. Let's take a look. Oh my goodness, that looks delicious. I think we're gonna call this good. I can get it out without dumping it. Guys, see that? Oh, yummy. All right, so this pizza looks amazing. Our crust, I can feel, is crispy around the edges. So I'm gonna let this sit for a few minutes until it's cool enough to cut and take a bite of, and then we will give it a good taste. All right, this has had time to cool a little bit, so hopefully I can cut it without tearing it apart. Let's see. There we go. Okay, that looks really good. Let's see if I can eat it without burning myself. Oh goodness. Still pretty hot. Ooh, that's good. That crust is really good. It's chewy. Has a great flavor. Pizza is delicious. That is 5 days of low carb dinners that are diabetes friendly. They were all delicious. They were pretty simple to put together. So I will go ahead and link the recipe for the pizza crust and for the little cauliflower fritters that we made. Everything else was, I didn't really use a recipe. I will link those two in the description box though, so that you guys can access them if you would like. And I just want to thank everyone for watching. You have no idea how much I appreciate it. It's wonderful to see all the views and get the comments. I really enjoy the comments as well. So if you guys liked this video, please go down and hit the thumbs up button. And that's going to do it for today. And I will see you guys on the next video. Thanks, guys.